Hello and welcome. Today, I would like to think out loud on the things we can or cannot do as free people. I want to ask you this question: can we do whatever we want? I personally think not. And in this video, you'll discover how the wisdom of a good letter can help you make choices that not only respect your freedom, but also build a more constructive and fulfilling life for yourself and others. So, hear me out. It's just a thought. Just because something is illegal or permitted, does that automatically make it a good choice? Is having the right to do something the same as having the wisdom to do it? So today we're exploring this through a profound Bible verse from 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23. If you are not a believer and not a Christian, stick around anyways, because I guarantee you will benefit from this, because wisdom is wisdom. Seriously, stick around and invest in yourself. Now, this verse on screen is from the Apostle Paul and his letter to the Corinthians. He was addressing issues about freedom and responsibility. Now, note that the early Christians in Corinth were grappling with the idea of personal freedom in a society where many things were permissible but not necessarily beneficial. I don't know about you, but this certainly reminds me of the times that we are living in because, anyways. So Paul is reminding them and us that just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. By the way, I told non-Christians and non-believers to stick to this video. If you're not familiar with who this guy Paul was, do me a favor and do a quick Google search on Paul's life before he believed, because it will certainly bless you and give you things to think about. But I digress. Let's break down this Bible passage. So as I said, in Paul's time, the Corinthian church was dealing with complex questions about whether it was acceptable to, for example, eat food sacrificed to idols or to participate in certain practices. And he acknowledges their freedom for sure, but urges them to consider the impact of their actions on themselves and on other people. Fast forward to today, and this verse is incredibly relevant, in my opinion. So think about history. There were many practices or things that were once considered lawful, right? That we now recognize as harmful today, where we go, gee, I can't believe that used to be a thing. For example, let's go light, slavery. Slavery was once legal and sanctioned in many societies, yet it was deeply unjust and inhumane. Now, one can argue that slavery is still going on in some societies or some countries around the world, and of course, that's not the topic of the day, but the point being that it was fully legal, and fully lawful. Similarly, smoking inside was not long ago permitted, depending on where you live. But we know now that it was probably not the healthiest thing to do. So these examples illustrate, in my opinion, the legality that, something being legal does not equate to something being moral or beneficial, having beneficial outcomes. So the wisdom in Paul's words helps us navigate our own choices today, urging us to consider not just, again, the legality of our actions, but the impact on ourselves and others. So that's all good, but how can we apply this wisdom in our modern times? Whether it's about our personal habits or the way we interact with others, our roles in societies, the challenge is to ask ourselves this: will this action build me up and build others up, or will it only serve to benefit me in the short term? Is this smart of me to do? If I was to look back tomorrow, in a year, in 10 years, is this something that I would be glad that I did or glad that I said? Now, again, even if you're not a Christian, not a believer, this principle can be incredibly useful because it encourages a thoughtful approach to decision making, where you weigh the broader consequences of your actions rather than just focusing on whether something is allowed. So, to wrap things up, let's think about our own lives. Are there areas where we are prioritizing our rights over what is the well-being of ourselves or others? And how can we shift our focus from just mere permission to what is truly, truly beneficial? So I'd like to hear from you. What is one example you can think of something permitted but not beneficiary to you? Do drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. So that is all for today. If this was useful, hit the thumbs up to let me know. And do me a favor, send this to someone you know would like or need to hear it. I will see you next time.